What's up, guys? This is the Young Guns podcast, and as you can see right now, we have Team Canada's projected roster already up. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. Yeah, I know the Olympic season doesn't start until February, but we wanted to get a head start and release all our projections, starting off with Canada. So, guys, let's get into it.
So obviously, we're gonna start from the back. We're gonna start with the goaltending, because I think it was the easiest one for us to kind of pick
Yeah,
since
100% carry
you
price is
know.
going
So
there.
we kind of narrowed it down to we had about five options. I think it was that we had discussed.
Yeah.
We had narrowed it down to about three, and the three ones that we thought were going to make it to the Olympic team. Obviously, we have Carey Price on there. He hasn't played a game yet this year. However, if he does come back for the Canadians and he does get some game time before before they have to choose the Olympic team in January, and he's healthy and he's ready to come in, I think he's Canada's number one goalie, and I think there's no question about it. We obviously have Jordan Binnington, who is there. He's had a decent start to the year in St. Louis. St. Louis looks like a really good team, and he's been a big part of it. Really good goalies, won a Stanley Cup before as well. So he's got some championship winning pedigree. And I think that's why he should be on the second goalie on the roster. And obviously, Marc Andre Fleury is the third one, who, again, not really a great start to the year this year. Kind of
It's not his
struggled.
fault. The Chicago
No, yeah.
Blackhawks are
Still a
awful.
Vezina winning.
That's it.
goalie.
He hasn't been great this season, but like Chris said, he won the Vezina, and I think he's a good goalie to have for experience purposes. And if, let's say, Carey Price gets injured or something, you can always put Fleury in, and you'll feel trusted
And you
with
know
him
the
in
other
net.
two guys we're debating with was Blackwood and
The Carter Hart.
Carter Hart.
But we went
Uh,
based off experience because if you really think about this, okay, Marc Andre Fleury, this could very well be his last season, right? He's a three-time Stanley Cup winner. He went to the semifinals last year because it wasn't really the conference finals because there was not really a conference established. And he went to the Stanley Cup finals with
Vegas.
Las Vegas as well. So this guy has a really, really good track record, and he won the Vesna. And unfortunately, with the events that occurred, he got moved to Chicago because of salary cap and so on, whatever. And it's not his fault that he's underperforming. Look at the team in front of him, but he definitely deserves to be there, and I think that's why he's going to be the second or third goalie. Carey Price, gold medal winner for Team Canada at the Sochi Olympics in 2014. Arguably one of the best goaltenders of all time in the NHL or in the world. Yes, he's declined when you look at his season stats, but he's a playoff performer and he performs really well on the big stage. And
Yeah.
this is the biggest stage of them all, apart from the Stanley Cup Finals.
Well, I think the
So
Olympics is, in terms of like world stage at the Olympics, is definitely bigger than the Stanley
yeah,
Cup.
okay.
So
And then you have Binnington, won a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues are having a great start to the season as well. And you look at Carter Hart, very good goalie, but Philly's a mid-tier team
Yeah, I think
right
the
now.
next
yeah, but
Olympics,
he's
I
had
think.
Carter Hart's had a good start to the year this year. He's been pretty good.
Yeah,
But
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe. I think Bennington, Fleury, Blackwood, and
I
No, not Blackwood. Blackwood's
I
more of like the dark horse.
I
if
like-
anything.
no, but I
I'll
feel
be
like
honest-
they could be either or. I know Carey Price is the established one, I think, but out of the other four,
well,
it's most likely
okay.
these three.
Let me ask you guys something. Let's say, knock on wood, but let's say Carey Price doesn't make team. Let's say for whatever reason Carey Price is not ready to play. He doesn't come in. They don't choose him for Team Canada. You have Binnington, Fleury as your goalies, and
You have
then
Carter
you need a
Hart.
third goalie. Who do you take? Do you take
Carter Hart.
Blackwood or Carter Hart?
Carter
I think
Hart.
Blackwood.
Carter
I
Hart's been compared to Carey Price in many aspects of the game, so they're gonna want someone that's very similar to her style.
I-
And he's somewhat proven. He's still very young, but he's more proven than Mackenzie Blackwood. That's for sure.
I think Mackenzie Blackwood is one of the most underappreciated goaltenders in the league.
He is,
I
but
think he's so underrated. I think people don't realize how good he actually is. I don't know if he makes Team Canada. I think those three goalies that we mentioned are all
I
going to be
think
on the
it's
list.
pretty much locked.
But like you said, I think they're going to take Carter Hart, and I think Carter Hart, if they do take him, if Price can't go, let's say, for whatever reason, and they have to take a third goalie, I think Carter Hart goes just for the experience and the fact that he'll be around, these guys that have won Stanley Cups and won, big tournaments before, and I think it's going to be good for him in his career to experience what an Olympics looks like for him as well, because he's a young goaltender, and I think he's going to be really, really good in the future. So there's that. Moving on to the defense now. This one was very interesting. So
Yeah,
obviously,
a lot of options.
we decided to go with lines here,
Yeah.
which was Chris's idea. And it actually, so basically, our first line, we went with the two Vegas guys in Alex Petrangelo and Shea Theodore. So
I'm pretty sure that's like 100%.
yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
Well, Petrangelo, I think, is
One of the
He's
top
confirmed
defensive
on the
pairings in the
team.
league, you know. So why
Petrangelo's
not?
already confirmed on Team Canada, and Shea
Yeah.
Theodore is one of the best defense. In my opinion, he's one of the best.
They're one of the best
defensemen.
defensive pairings in the league, offensively and defensively. So why not pair them up for Team
That's
Canada?
it. And they play together in Vegas, anyways. A lot of the time.
Chemistry's
too.
already established.
So that's it. The second pairing we have, obviously, we have
Makar and Nurse.
Makar and Darnell Nurse. Kale Makar, one of the best offensive defensemen in the league, arguably the best defenseman in the league, if you ask some people. And Darnell Nurse, hard-hitting defenseman. You know, workhorse, can play 20 minutes a night, more than that, 25 minutes a night if he needs to. You know, good defensively. I think too. He's on a good Edmonton team. Obviously, he's got relationships with Connor McDavid, which we're going to talk about later. But what I like about Darnell Nurse is he's a big defenseman. He can throw the body. He can hit. He's going to wear down opponents. And he's playing next to a guy like Kale Makar. So the offensive side of the game, Darnell Nurse doesn't really have to worry about it. Whereas Makar can be free to do whatever he wants. He'll be.
I mean, there is an argument that Darnell Nurse is your rare two-way defender.
Yeah.
He's able to play an offensive
Absolutely.
game and a defensive game.
Absolutely.
So I mean, you know, but I think in this type of role, with Makar, I think he's going to play more of a defensive role.
Yeah, and I think it's going to work.
I mean, it also helps that his sister plays for Team Canada for the women's hockey team. So
Doesn't she play basketball too? One of his sisters plays basketball too. I think Kia Nurse or something. Doesn't she play basketball?
he has two
Women.
sisters.
Yeah, I think he has two sisters. Anyways, one of
Yeah.
them I know plays basketball and she's on TSN too. But the other one, I don't know. I don't know if she plays. Maybe she does.
No,
play
she
hockey.
does. She plays hockey.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she's also
But
a defender
anyways,
too.
it's
for
good.
Team
Yeah,
Canada's
like
women's
you
teams.
said, it's good that he has that family ties as well to that because that helps. But Darnell Nurse, a really good defenseman. Obviously, our third pairing, we went with Dougie Hamilton
And Ekblad.
and Aaron Ekblad. To me, this is an underrated pairing. You've got Aaron Ekblad, who's had a really good start to the year, and when healthy, he's really, really good. And you've got Dougie Hamilton, who last year was one of the finalists for the Norris, ended up losing it, but was up there, right? Got a big contract with the Devils this year, but he's a really good offensive defenseman. Like Darnell Nurse, Aaron Ekblad's a good two-way defenseman as well. Really good in his own end, can shut down the team's top lines. And if he's got a guy like Dougie Hamilton next to him, I think that's going to really help him a lot as a defensive pair. And also Canada, like you look at the decor just off the six guys that we've mentioned, and we haven't even gotten to the last two guys that are on the list. Like Canada's very deep defensively, and I think that they're going to be a team that's going to be very fun to watch, especially for us Canadians who watch the sport of hockey. And obviously the last pairing, which is Thomas Chabot and Morgan Riley. Morgan Riley, for me, I think he's very underappreciated. I know he plays on the Leafs team and whatever, and
he's not really good defensively,
right? Whatever. But the thing with Morgan Riley,
he's good. He's a good player.
Yeah, but the thing is,
offensively,
he's more of an offensive
defensively,
defenseman. But what I like about Morgan
a lot of
Riley,
defensive mistakes, a lot of
But
turnovers.
he would be. I think he would make it, and he would probably be the extra guy there.
yeah,
100%.
the thing
He's
is,
kind of like what was it, the Vancouver Olympics, or was it the
like a PK Subban type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's
it. Like, yeah, I think he's going to be like the seventh, eighth. Like, he's going to be the guy that comes in. Let's say there's an injury that happens, or let's say Canada wants to change things up a little bit, and like, you know what, they're going to throw Morgan Riley on defense, right? And Chabot, look, when we were reading like they said they might go with 8 defensemen. I think the 8th defenseman for experience and to just experience in Olympics and see what it's all about. I think Thomas Chabot's a really good guy to go there.
Yeah, he's underperforming
young.
this season, unfortunately, but it's Ottawa. But he's capable of playing a lot of minutes in Ottawa, especially that they're not the greatest team defensively. They concede a lot of goals,
and he's still super young too. So I think the experience of the Olympics is going to help him for sure.
And we left out Jacob
Slavin.
Jacob Slavin, Pareko too. We left out
Jacob
Chikrin too. We left out Chikrin. The reason
I would have had season last year.
I would have had Chikrin on the list.
Yeah, but
I think we all would have had.
I
think we all would have had Chikrin on the list, but I think because of the fact that he's on Arizona and because of the fact that he hasn't really had a great start.
3 points right now.
So. I think Canada might look away from that. He could make the team. He's still a great defenseman,
I've been looking at a lot of lineups like on TSN, or even they were just talking about this on the radio 2 days ago.
Or
that a lot of people have him on the team. like that he's
Yeah.
gonna be playing.
He's a very good
But
defenseman.
they've also made these lists before the season started,
Okay.
Yeah,
so I think
we're
I
essentially like
I don't know how they make the team. I don't know if they've done
Yeah.
it beforehand, like
Yeah.
they
a
know
lot
who
of
they're
them
picking, or if
started
they
in
pick
September doing them.
like okay.
Even
so-
even during the
The
playoffs.
most recent one I think I've seen
Because like I'm gonna
was
be honest,
October.
October,
They
yeah.
made one in October.
as I know Morgan Riley, you know, there's some people he's not that kind of defenseman, like, but I would put him over Nurse personally.
Look, I would say
I
there's
think
some
Nurse
players.
I would put Ekblad with Morgan Riley and Hamilton and McCarr.
I think the pairings are perfect the way they are
I
because
think Nurse
there's
would
a
be the
well
seventh. But yeah,
established defensive and offensive
yeah,
pairing, and I think you need
makes
that.
sense.
So you need one guy that's able to play. I mean, Ekblad and Nurse are kind of like quarterbacks in a sense. You know, they're there. They could stand their ground, play defensively, but when you need them to move up, they're gonna move up and they're gonna go into the offensive zone and they're gonna be capable of bringing the puck and doing something offensively as well. So I
Every-
mean, I think that the defense is honestly amazing.
It's
To be honest,
it's very balanced,
It's very
very
balanced.
balanced, and I really like the picks that we made on defense. I didn't, yesterday when we were talking about it, like at the beginning, we thought about it, whatever, we went back and forth for a while, but after like when we got the list done, I was like, okay, like the 8 guys that we chose, like these are good picks, like
They are.
these guys, all 8 guys could be like super accurate.
many of these guys are assisting
they have so
captains or
much
captains
depth
on their
that they
team.
can make two teams.
There's a lot of
together,
leadership.
Yeah,
and they'll still win.
I don't know about two. I don't know about if they'd win because I think USA is like really really good too.
Yeah, which we're gonna be talking about on Thursday's
on
episode.
Thursday's episode. But yeah. Anyways, going to the forward core, we're gonna start with the 2 guys that we not left off, but the 2
The extras, the 2 extras.
that we have on the list. The guys that could be like scratches are gonna go to Team Canada, but might not necessarily play. The first one we have is Ryan O'Reilly
No, it's John Tavares.
or John Tavares. Sorry.
Yeah.
Actually,
bad.
let's get into that. We were debating a lot whether if Ryan O'Reilly, John Tavares, or Nick Suzuki would be interchangeable on the
Patrice
4th line.
Bergeron.
No, that was you. Not
That
me.
was you.
Honestly,
That was
I
you.
don't have Patrice Bergeron making the team.
Okay.
I don't, because there's. I'm gonna be honest.
The reason why he's on
there's-
this team is because it was a
there
democracy.
it was a
2v1.
veto. This whole list
So,
is
yeah,
democracy,
the
bro, and I'm very
democracy.
controversial. So, but listen, I prefer Pierre-Luc Dubois. I think.
No.
Yes, he's
He's having
younger.
a good season
He's
this year,
faster.
but no.
He's having a good season, and I feel like Patrice Bergeron, if he does make the team, is because it's his last Olympics. So
He's
they're
a
gonna put him
he's,
on.
he's the if they have to rename the Selke trophy, it's the Patrice Bergeron trophy. This guy's been nominated or won that trophy so many times. He's the
I get it, but like if you're going there for.
He's the ideal
it's
two-way
nice to have
centerman.
fresh blood and fresh blood on the team. Sometimes it's
I'm not
good to
gonna
have
lie to
a
you.
switch.
it's
up.
good, but you need a
And
well balanced
think
team of
Pierre-Luc Dubois
leadership.
would be solid.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have Mark Scheifele ahead of Pierre-Luc Dubois before anything else.
No,
So
no.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna have that comment, Mark Scheifele's not even on the list that we have.
yeah, not
Yeah,
even,
he's not
And,
having a great.
not-
He's
season.
not having a great
underperforming
season,
this
but I
season.
think player-wise and in terms of skill, I think Mark Scheifele's a better player than Pierre-Luc Dubois. So I think that if Canada had to pick
Well,
somebody
no,
from
it's
there,
because Pierre-Luc Dubois would be a winger, and I would put Ryan O'Reilly.
yeah,
as
but
a
centers
center.
can play pretty much every center can play
as you
wing.
can see right now,
'Cause being
Canada's
wing-
team is filled up with a lot of centers that are gonna have to
Yeah.
be forced to play
But
either
playing-
the left side or the right side.
But playing wing, like if you're a center can play is easier to transition to a winger than it is for a winger to transition to a center.
Exactly.
So any center can play on the wing. It doesn't change anything because it gives them less responsibility, which is fine.
But Bergeron is like your typical like two-way centerman. He's
But
one
like-
of the top centermen in the league. There's no way he's playing wing.
Like I had mentioned yesterday, right? For me, Patrice Bergeron, I think is going to make Team Canada. A, for the fact that he has experience, and B, for the fact that he's
a leader,
one of the
man.
best, still one of the best centers in the league, in my
And he's
opinion.
a leader too.
And he's a leader. And
He's
the
captain
best
of the
thing,
Boston Bruins.
the best thing that I like about Bergeron is, look, I don't think he's going to play top 6 minutes, but I think on a 4th line role in Canada,
It's amazing.
like I said yesterday, where he's on the penalty kill and he wins faceoffs, and he's on there for the big moments when he has to win a faceoff. I think Bergeron is going to be there like for leadership and to just
The
be
fourth-
that 4th line guy.
The 4th line
which
is
is fine.
essentially like in my
That's why I think he
opinion,
makes it.
it could very be one of the best shutdown lines in this tournament. You have Ryan O'Reilly on his left side, very capable of center, who's been nominated for the Selke as well in the past. And like Bergeron, he's a very good, one of the best two-way centermen in the league. Unfortunately, we have to shaft him to the left side of Bergeron. We have Matthew Barzal on the right to add some youth and some speed. But the reason why we have John Tavares and Nick Suzuki, we're gonna start John Tavares. we saw the leaks and stuff that he was modeling for
Modeling,
Team
yeah.
Canada under the what is it, Lululemon or
Lululemon.
something?
Yeah, it was Lululemon.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
wouldn't it be weird to have a Canadian player that's not on the team modeling for the Olympic teams? You know, like what do you even call it?
Like we went,
sponsor or
we went
something?
purely based on he's modeling for them.
Yeah.
Bro, we I'll be honest with you. I think we all agreed on this that he should not
He
be on
should
the
not
team.
be.
He shouldn't.
But the fact that he
It would be
modeled
Drake
for-
Batherson, which
he had brought up,
he
which was a
brought
good
up,
point.
which was a very good point.
I don't. I think like he
I
said,
got
right?
vetoed on
Like
that
and like
too.
we all kind of agreed on this. He's only on the team purely for the fact that he modeled for them, and that's the only reason we put him there.
That would be weird if you don't have a
Besides
guy on
that,
the team.
we did
that's
not think that
modeling.
he was
I mean,
gonna
that's
make it.
modeling for
Well,
the.
it's
Team
already
Canada.
weird that you have someone modeling for you and he's like a reserve. Like I already.
Well,
think
I don't
that's-
know. I don't know how.
No,
they're
as
gonna
long
view
as he's
it,
on the
but-
team, that's all that matters.
But the one that I think could really make a run for his money, and I think he might play, maybe might get even
one
beat,
game. Yeah,
even play over Matt Barzell if he's that good, or if he impresses in camp. Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki. Yes, when we talked about other people, right, and I saw a bunch of lists too, and they were saying, oh, Nick Suzuki might not make it, whatever, and they had Mark Scheifele ahead of him, and they had these guys, and I'm like, Nick Suzuki, I find, does not get the appreciation that he does. I
he
think
plays for the Montreal Canadiens, one of the most
Right.
hated teams around the league.
he plays for the Canadiens.
True.
He's their best player, like by far, best forward by far. Like it's not even close. And the biggest thing for this guy is you saw his playoff performance last year and what he did for the Canadians.
and
I'm
John
like,
Cooper
could
actually.
could you imagine what Nick Suzuki, seeing him the way he was in the playoffs last year for the Canadians, and seeing how he started this season, and the points that he has or whatever, what he could bring to a Team Canada team? Nick Suzuki, for me, I find he's the guy that gets the clutch factor, and I think that in a game, in a situation where Canada's fighting for a final, let's say they're going to they need a goal in overtime of the semifinal game. I think a guy like Nick Suzuki is the guy that sets up that goal to send Canada to the final, right?
Yeah.
So he's that type of player, and I think that's why he might make it. I think, and like you said, John Cooper,
He
yesterday,
approached him.
not
he
yesterday,
approached
last
him in the
year,
playoffs
approached
when they
him
got
in the playoffs
eliminated.
and was like, "Hey, like you're a gamer, kid. You're really good, and whatever." And I think John Cooper likes him a lot, and because he's the coach of Canada, I think he's gonna have a say in who he wants on his team, and so therefore, I think Suzuki might make the cut.
If you look at the people he spoke to when they were shaking hands, he had a lot to say to Carey Price, Nick Suzuki, and Cole Caulfield. But if you really, you have to have in mind that John Cooper is the Team Canada coach.
That's
So talking to Suzuki as much as he did and said the things that he did, and talking to Price as well, you have to somewhat theorize that there's a good chance they will make Team Canada's team.
Anyways,
that answers our third line, being Braden Point and Stamkos playing together.
Of
and
course.
then obviously we had Mark Stone next to them. I think that line's going to be crazy good.
Yeah.
I think that line's Mark Stone is
That's
one of the best.
pure offense.
Mark Stone is one of the best two-way forwards in the league. He's one of the best defensive wingers in the league. And playing next to Braden Point, who we know what he did in the playoffs for Tampa, and next to Steven Stamkos, who he's gonna be a really good player. I think that third line's gonna be crazy.
Essentially it's an energy line.
It's gonna be
an energy
I'm
line.
actually debating with the guys, and I was vetoed on this too, guys.
You were vetoed on a lot.
I said that Mark Stone would be perfect on the first line with McDavid, and Marner would be playing with Point and Stamkos.
But
Anything's possible. A lot of players are interchangeable. That's
I
the
feel like we're not-
beauty about this team.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think we're gonna get the lines precisely 100% because I just don't think that's gonna happen. If we do, I think we should.
We deserve credibility.
I'll be honest.
Yeah,
If
honestly.
we do get this right, like every
there should
single
be
thing
some
right,
sum of money thrown our way.
we should
for
like
this.
someone
Not
should
money,
call-
but
go, like,
subscribers.
I think
Or
Team Canada.
subscribers, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, subscribers,
Wink,
but
wink.
also I think if we get all this list right, I think Team Canada should call us. Maybe we should make the decisions as to move it forward as to what's
Or
going on.
maybe they should somewhat collab with
You know,
us. or
come
something.
Maybe
on our
we should get
podcast.
hired to be scouts on a certain
But no,
team.
I look,
Who knows?
Mark Stone. The reason why I have him on the third line is because I think he's more of a defensive. Like, look, he's been nominated for the Selke a lot. Right, last year he was nominated for Selke, and I think Mark Stone
Or,
on
sorry,
a third line with Point and
Got nominated for the
Stamkos-
Selkie.
You know,
He did.
sorry to cut you
A
off.
winger as a Selkie?
Yeah, he was nominated for Selke.
Oh my god.
Sorry to cut you off now, but now that I think of it, maybe Barzell would be good on the third and Stone on the fourth.
I don't know. I
Like
mean,
a
I don't look.
shutdown
A lot of
forward.
things a lot of things are
So you know what the
interchangeable.
thing is about this fucking team, bro? Is every single player on this team can play any position anywhere. Like
Yeah.
apart from the first line, which is like McDavid,
Yeah, it's a
This
good
team's
one.
very flexible on where they
Yeah,
want to
like
position the
anyone playing
players.
anywhere, and like it would work. But the third line, I think, is really balanced. The second line, I really think is interesting. Sidney Crosby with Brad Marchand
And McKinnon.
and McKinnon.
That's
We've
my
got-
favorite line.
We've got
That's
we've
my
got the
favorite
two
line.
we've got the two Nova Scotia boys in Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon, who have always said they've wanted to play next to each other. Now they might get the opportunity to. And you've got a pest in Brad Marchand, who is going to be. We all know what he's going to be and he's going to be a shit disturber. He's going to piss people off, but he's also really good, and he's one of the best.
And that's
players in the league.
perfect for a line like that because if you really think about it, Crosby and who's the other guy that's playing? Oh, McKinnon. Yes, McKinnon.
Who is
so
that? We don't know who that is.
we've discussed so many line changes and stuff. Like we're like, oh my god, like
Wait,
what are the
who's McKinnon again?
possibilities?
He's an all-star player.
Oh,
I don't
he
know.
is?
Oh, really?
shit, fuck.
We discussed so many lineup
I don't know
lineup ideas and stuff. Like we totally forget like who plays with who. But essentially, yeah. So going back to what we were saying, McKinnon and Crosby, yes, the two Nova Scotia guys, they're not gonna lay the body out there. They're not physical, right? So that's where you add in a guy like Brad Marchand that's gonna go in the corners and do the dirty work that those two other guys are not gonna be willing to
He's
do.
also a really good penalty killer, Brad Marchand. Like
Yeah.
really, really good.
The
He's really
penalty
good at
kills-
getting penalties too.
As long as he doesn't
Yeah,
lick
but he's also
anybody's
really good
ears.
at. Hey, he was also really good at drawing penalties too, because Marchand, likes to
He's a
dive.
pest.
So,
So he's going to be the guy that's causing trouble on that line. Hopefully not causing penalties. I mean for us, but causing what?
goals,
I'm
scoring
I'm
goals,
listening, I'm listening.
Oh, okay.
Scoring
I was like,
goals-
oh my god, did I see
scoring
something wrong?
goals and drawing penalties.
Yeah,
Actually.
like you're not causing penalties. Sorry,
No, drawing
not
penalties.
causing any penalties, but drawing penalties, of course. And he's gonna do all the dirty work that essentially the two other guys are not gonna be capable of doing or not willing to do. Because as you know, Crosby and McKinnon are somewhat injury prone. We
Yeah.
kind of know that. So, I don't think they want to go to a tournament where they're gonna get injured and then it's gonna affect their regular
Yeah.
season too. So, I think adding Brad Marchand is a good mix to that line. So moving on to the first line, our top line, we have
Wait,
Marner.
Let me say it. Let me say it.
Oh,
okay?
okay, you say it.
Marner, McDavid, and I want to pronounce this guy Huberdeau.
Jonathan
God,
Huberdeau.
Huberdeau.
Oh my
Huberdeau.
god.
Huberdeau. I don't know why it's so
Huberdeau.
hard for me to pronounce
Bro,
it.
yesterday on FaceTime,
Huberdeau. Huberdeau.
yesterday
Why
on
do you say
FaceTime,
Huberdeau.
on yesterday on FaceTime, he
Ah.
kept saying Huberdeau, Huberdeau.
Who is it? It's
I
Huberdeau.
got
Jonathan Huberdeau.
Huberdeau.
Yes,
Huberdeau.
Yeah.
Huberdeau.
So let's get into it and
But
why
he's
we
French.
came up
Yeah,
with this line.
Jonathan Huberdeau.
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 Oh, there's an R.
Yeah,
You know
Huberdeau.
this reminds me of that
Ah.
scene in Pink Panther when he's like hamburger, hamburger,
Hamburger.
That's it.
Yeah.
Jonathan Huberdeau
So,
or Jonathan Huberdeau.
Huberdeau.
Huberto, yeah,
Ah, okay. So yeah, Marner, McDavid, and Huberdeau.
exactly.
Huberdeau, I mean, we've all seen what he's done for Florida.
Best
and
left winger on
he's
Team
just-
Canada
He's just
by
great.
far.
He's great. He's Quebecois, represent, but also he's just, in general, he's just a really good player. And he's going to be playing next to McDavid, which is insane. I think that's going to be
it's gonna be
crazy. And then Mitch Marner, we all know what Mitch Marner is going to do. He's literally just going to take the puck, pass it to McDavid or Huberdeau, and let them do it.
And he's already used to doing that with Barkov, right, in Florida. So him slotting
Huberdeau,
into
yeah.
this first line and
And
essentially
Marner's
you're
used to doing that with
swapping.
Matthews.
Exactly.
And McDavid
So
just does everything
you
on his
have
own.
two guys, two secondary guys, two of the top guys in their team, two Matthews and Barkov,
Yeah.
essentially. So placing them in this situation, they're used to this. And now they're going to be feeding Connor McDavid, arguably the best player in the world and in the NHL. So these guys are familiar. They know what they're capable of doing. I think this is easily the line that I'm expecting to see out of everything we came up with. I think this is a concrete line
And-
that's definitely going to be established for this tournament.
And what I like about Marner, right, is that he's already played with Matthews before, right? And we all know the success that they've had together. But I think if you put him on a line with Connor McDavid, he's going to be the exact same way he is with Matthews, because I think he's got that chemistry, and I think because Matthews is really, really good too, it benefits him from making Marner a better player. But the fact that McDavid is who McDavid is, I think Mitch Marner it's going to be an easy time for Mitch Marner. All he's going to have to do is try to find a way to feed McDavid. And if he doesn't feed McDavid, or for whatever reason McDavid's getting stopped or whatever, Jonathan Huberdeau's right there.
Yeah.
Like, he's got options. And, like, Mitch Marner, I think, is going to have a field day, and he's going to have one of the best tournaments he's ever had. And we're going to see the real
And
Mitch
he
Marner
needs
because
that
he's
because
really, really good.
I think his confidence was really shot during last playoffs because he didn't perform. You
And I
know,
think his
and
time
if
is to prove it.
And if he's capable of performing on the biggest stage in the world,
Yeah.
here's your opportunity playing with the best player in the world.
And
So
it's a confidence thing too, because like
Yeah.
if for the Leafs, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like the Leafs, but whatever. The point is that even if the Leafs make the playoffs, right?
Okay,
Neither
into
do
that.
I.
Even if the Leafs make the playoffs, right? If you've got a guy like
I
Mitch
hate
Marner,
blue.
And the white.
if you've got a guy like Mitch Marner who comes into the play, let's say the Leafs make the playoffs, whatever, and then obviously he wins a gold medal with Team Canada, Mitch Marner, he's gonna have the experience of, oh well, I won a gold medal with Team Canada and I had a really good tournament. Might be able to take the Leafs to that next step. So I think that's what I'm trying to say with Mitch Marner is I think this is an opportunity for him, like you said, to come out and kind of just prove to everybody that he can perform on the big
And I think
stage.
he will.
And I think he will. Jonathan Huberdeau, one of the most underrated players. I don't even think Jonathan Huberdeau gets the respect that he deserves. He's really, really good and really underrated. And next to McDavid, it's going to be fantastic. And obviously, Connor McDavid, we don't even have to say anything about McDavid. He just leaves us speechless every single time. He leaves me speechless every single time.
Do you still think Crosby didn't be captain?
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
of course, he was captain
And
last. Was he
the
captain last time?
Yeah, but
Yeah, he
there
was
there was
captain.
no McDavid
and the
last time,
two assistant
Yeah, but still.
captains are gonna be Petrangelo and McDavid.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
You don't think McKinnon?
No,
I think Crosby's
No.
going to be captain because Crosby's won 3 Stanley
and
Cups.
then
and he's
McDavid's
won,
McDavid.
and he's
So
won the gold medal, and he's already the captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he's the most experienced player there in terms of accolades and whatever. Whereas McDavid, I think
Not even Patrice Bergeron as an assistant.
maybe
it's
but
possible.
but I think
it's really-
Crosby's the captain.
yeah. Crosby's the
question.
captain, assistant captain, 100%. McDavid, it's a lock, and then you're gonna have to give an assistant captain
Yeah.
an A to essentially a
Now that I
defenseman. It's
think of it,
Petrangelo.
we didn't. Why not Marchand and Bergeron playing together? That would make sense.
We had this conversation because we think that Bergeron is going to be more of a defensive player, whereas Marchand,
Yeah.
we believe he's going to actually help them out.
See him getting vetoed again.
Well,
So,
maybe agree with us. And that won't
Essentially,
happen.
this is the overview. The first line, we have two guys. They're used to feeding their top players on their respective teams in the NHL, and you're going to be used to that. So they're slotted in with Connor McDavid. The second line, you have two Nova Scotia players, whereas McKinnon idolized Crosby. That's his favorite player of all the time. So I guess they're going to want to put them together, and they play somewhat a similar style of game. And then Marshall is going to be that guy that's going to get into the dirty situations and do what they're not capable of doing and what they don't want to do. And you got the third line. That's the energy line with Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, and Mark Stone. And then you have the shutdown line in Ryan O'Reilly, Patrice Bergeron, and Matthew Barzal. And another thing that I like about Matthew Barzal on the fourth line is that he plays for one of the best defensive systems in the league, and that's the New York Islanders. And that's established by Barry Trotz.
And he gets points.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
I think these are our lineups,
I
and we hope that you guys agree with our roster and the lineups as well. And if you guys have anything else to say about our lineup, maybe we missed out on a couple of names, maybe you don't agree with our picks, make sure to write that in the comment section below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and and obviously share this video to anybody that's interested in the 2022 Beijing Olympics. And this Thursday, we're going to be talking about
The Team
the
USA.
Team USA. And moving forward, we're going to be doing a lot of projection videos for the Olympics. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much, guys. Until the next one.
Yep.